It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got a beer from York Brewery, not Brew York, who I brewed a fantastic German lager with. German or Czech? It was German. It was a German Mazen beer we brewed with Brew York. That was 2023. That was. Yeah, that was a great beer. I've been to Brew York many times, and I recorded their new brewery, and I know Lee, and they're all very friendly there. But to be honest with you, I didn't know this brewery still existed. I didn't know York Brewery, which seems to be owned by Black Sheep, because I had a big parcel of beer from Black Sheep recently, and this was in there. And this is York Brewery's Guzzler Session Pale Ale. 3.6% ABV. 3.6, 500 milliliter bottle. Much more of a traditional looking beer than Brew York. Brew York, I would say, is more this sort of thing these days. I know this is a different brewery, but more kind of 440 milliliter cans. This is a 500 milliliter bottle. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to it. I have reviewed York Brewery beers many years ago, when they were independent, when they were on their own. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass. Or we can go a bit vigorous to try and create a head on this one. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I've been to York now a few times. It makes sense to. It's such a touristy place. Black Sheep, kind of Mashamish area of the UK. Well, they have. It's Masham, it says on the back of the bottle, Masham water. So with Black Sheep, you've got to get a bus to get there. You've got to get a bus to get to Theakston's and Black Sheep. With York, it's an international tourist hotspot, isn't it? People travel from all over the world to go to York. It's a beautiful place, and it makes sense for somebody like Black Sheep. Say York Brewery got into trouble, which they may have done because Black Sheep bought them out. It makes sense to buy the brand. It makes sense to buy the brand, have the brand there, sell the beer around York, although you don't really see it much in York. I'll be perfectly honest with you. In my time in York, in April or May this year, 2024, in every single pub I went in the Blue Bell, I went everywhere. I went in the Roman Baths, every single pub you can think of. I didn't see any York Brewery beers. I went in the bottle shops there, the Trembling Madness, didn't see any York Brewery beers, seen plenty of Brew York. So maybe that's the reason why people think they don't exist anymore. Maybe Black Sheep should work a bit harder in getting their brand and their name out there. So beer in the glass, this looked like this for a long time, to be honest with you. The head dissipated very quickly. A little bit of carbonation on the beer there, slightly hazy to be honest with you, and light amber in colour. Let's get the aroma. It's a malty stew of a beer. I've looked for years at the right description for a beer like this, and I think for a few words to sum it all up would be malt stew, like a malty stewy kind of. Not much in the way of hops, just a malt bomb of a beer, a traditional British best bitter. Let's dive in. Cheers everybody. Yeah, and it's that in a taste. I was thinking of kind of like, to sum it up in a few words, it's just a malty stew of a beer. It's biscuit, breadiness, like a liquefied digestive biscuit. With that ABV being 3.6%, it's very drinkable. It's very refreshing. But I tell you, the name of the beer, yeah, Guzzler, yeah. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I think the real reason why beer bellies really kind of like took off in the 70s and the 80s and 90s was the lowering of the ABVs of best bitters. If you think about it, and I'm not going to shy away from this, many people drink because they like the feeling of drinking. They like what it does to their brain. There's a lot of us out there. I'm one. I feel very happy. I like that first 1 or 2 pints when you got that happy stage, that initial kind of like, ooh, this feels good. That's why a lot of people drink alcohol. Now, you have to drink more of it at 3.7% ABV, 3.6% ABV. You're drinking a lot of water. You're drinking a lot of water here. You're drinking your big volumes. You may have to drink 10 pints of this guzzling. You're guzzling this down. 10 pints of this, just to get the same effect. The point is, you're putting 500 millilitres of liquid in your body every time you drink a pint, or 568 millilitres, is it? 558 millilitres. And you're kind of like trying to get to the same state. I prefer to drink something like this, which would be the same company now, 5.7% ABV. 4 bottles of that, and I'd be done. 4 bottles of Black Sheep Rig Welter at 5.7% ABV, I'd be done. The volume's a lot lower. I'm drinking just over 2 litres of liquid, whereas this at 3.6% ABV, over 2% lower in the ABV, I'm drinking flipping 4 to 6 litres probably. 4 to 6 litres to do the same thing. It's the reason why you see, big beer-bellied men. It's too much liquid. So, me personally, on a personal level, I'd steer clear of that because, it's a decent beer, don't get me wrong. It's a decent beer. Not everybody drinks to have that effect, do they? But if you do, you may want to drink something else. Otherwise, you'll have a big fat beer belly. It's just a malty stew as well. There's a little bit of bitterness on the back end. It's kind of probably the reason you don't really see it much around York or the area of York. You don't really see this beer. It's too low. It's too low in the ABV to make a stamp, to make a dent. You're thinking about York, you're thinking about strong Viking people, aren't you? Big, strong Danes, big, strong Norwegians. And you just the image doesn't fit, does it, to drink a 3.6% ABV beer? If I was Black Sheep, on a personal level, if I was Black Sheep, I would rebrand this as my strong beer brewery, and I would rebrand. I'd have these as 7, 8, 9% ABV, and I'd pump it out there as strong. And my brand would be big strong beer for big strong people, or something like that. That sort of Viking type of thing. They've already got ales and bitters at 4.4% ABV. Why do they need more? As it is, the Guzzler is a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.